4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
d4, d5, e3, knight f6, f4, knight c6, knight f3, e6, bishop d3, bishop d7, c4, bishop c8, c takes d5, bishop d7, d takes c6, bishop takes c6, knight c3, bishop d7, e4, bishop a4, e5, bishop takes d1, king takes d1, queen d7, king d2, queen d6, e takes f6. e4, d6, g3, e5, bishop g2, knight f6, knight f3, bishop e7, short castle, d3, bishop e6, c3, knight c6, b3, queen d7. e4, d6, bishop c4, e5, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, knight f3, h6, knight g5 check, h takes g5, c3, bishop e6, rook f1, knight c6. d4, e5, e3, e takes d4, e takes d4, d5, bishop e2, knight f6, knight f3, bishop d6, short castle, h3, rook e8, c4, h6, c takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop d3, knight f6. d3, d6, e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, bishop e7, bishop e2, short castle, bishop e6, knight g5, knight c6, knight takes f7, bishop takes f7, f4, e takes f4. d4, c6, e3, knight f6, f4, d5, knight f3, e6, bishop d3, knight e4, short castle, f6, knight e5, bishop e7, knight f3, g6, bishop takes e4, f5. e4, d6, knight f3, e5, knight c3, knight f6, d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, knight c6, knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop d3, bishop e7, short castle, bishop e6, e5, d takes e5. d4, f6, e3, e6, f4, d6, knight f3, bishop e7, bishop d3, knight d7, short castle, b6, d5, bishop b7, d takes e6, knight c5, f5, knight takes d3, queen takes d3, d5. e3, d6, b3, e5, bishop b2, knight f6, queen f3, bishop e7, queen g3, short castle, knight a3, bishop e6, knight b5, a6. White timeout, black is victorious. d4, d5, e3, e6, f4, bishop e7, knight f3, knight f6, bishop d3, short castle, bishop d7, h3, queen e8, c4, bishop a4, b3, bishop b5, c takes b5, b6, a4, knight bd7. d4. c5. e3. c takes d4. e takes d4. Knight c6. Knight f3. d5. Knight c3. Bishop f5. Bishop e3. Knight f6. Bishop d3. e6. Bishop takes f5. Bishop b4. Bishop takes e6. Bishop takes c3 check. B takes c3. e4. d6. Knight f3. e5. d4. Knight f6. d takes e5. Knight takes e4. e takes d6. Knight takes d6. Queen takes d6. Bishop takes d6. Bishop g5. Short castle. Bishop takes d8. Rook takes d8. Bishop e2. Rook e8. Short castle. Bishop e6. Rook e1. Knight c6. Bishop d3. d4. e5. e3. Bishop c5. d takes e5. Bishop d4. e takes d4. Queen h4. Knight f3. Queen takes f2 check. King takes f2. f6. e takes f6. d6. f takes g7. Bishop g4. G takes h8 promotes to queen. e4. d6. Knight f3. e5. d3. Knight f6. Bishop e2. Bishop e7. Queen d2. Short castle. Short castle. Bishop e6. h3. Knight c6. Knight c3. Knight d4. b3. Knight takes f3 check. Bishop takes f3. d5. Queen e3. e4. d6. Queen f3. e5. Bishop c4. Queen e7. Queen takes f7 check. Queen takes f7. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes f7. Knight f3. h6. Knight g5 check. H takes g5. h4. Knight f6. H takes g5. Rook takes h1 check. King e2. Knight takes e4. d3. Knight takes g5. Bishop takes g5. Bishop f5. d4. e5. e3. Knight c6. d takes e5. Knight takes e5. f4. d6. f takes e5. Knight f6. e takes f6. g takes f6. Knight f3. Bishop e6. Bishop d3. Queen d7. Short castle. Long castle. Knight c3. Knight f3, d6, knight c3, e5, e4, f6, d3, knight e7, bishop d2, knight g6, bishop e3, bishop e7, bishop d2, short castle, bishop c1, king h8, bishop d2, knight c6, bishop e3. d4, e6, e3, d6, f4, bishop d7, knight f3, bishop e7, bishop d3, f6, queen e2, c6, short castle, e5, d takes e5, d takes e5, d4, d6, e4, e5, f3, e takes d4, bishop c4, c5, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, knight e2, bishop e6, knight f4, knight f6, knight d5, bishop takes d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5, short castle, knight f6, e4, d6, bishop c4, e5, queen h5, queen e7, queen f3, knight f6, knight h3, h6, g4, bishop takes g4, queen g3, bishop takes h3, queen takes h3, knight c6, queen b3, d4, c6, e3, knight f6, f4, e6, knight f3, knight e4, bishop d3, queen h4 check, knight takes h4, knight f2, knight f3, d6, knight c3, e5, e3, e4, d3, e takes f3, e4, knight f6, d4, bishop e7, e5, f takes g2, e takes f6, g takes f1 promotes to queen check, king takes f1, bishop takes f6, d4, b6, e3, bishop b7, f4, knight c6, knight f3, knight f6, bishop d3, e6, short castle, bishop e7, h3, short castle, c4, d6, d5, rook e8, d takes c6, bishop takes c6, knight c3, e4, d6, bishop c4, e5, queen h5, queen e7, d4, e takes d4, Bishop g5. Knight f6. Bishop takes f6. Queen takes f6. e5. D takes e5. Knight d2. g6. Knight e4. d4. e5. e3. E takes d4. E takes d4. d6. Knight f3. Bishop e6. Bishop e2. Bishop f5. Short castle. Bishop takes c2. Queen takes c2. Bishop e7. e4. d6. Bishop c4. e5. Queen h5. Queen e7. d4. d5. Bishop g5. D takes c4. Bishop takes e7. Bishop takes e7. Queen takes e5. Knight f6. d4. e5. e3. Bishop c5. D takes c5. Queen h4. Knight f3. Queen takes f2 check. King takes f2. f6. Knight takes e5. g6. Knight f3. Knight h6. Queen d4. Knight g4 check. King e2. Rook f8. h3. d5. H takes g4. e4. d6. Queen f3. e5. Bishop c4. Queen e7. Queen takes f7 check. Queen takes f7. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes f7. d4. d5. e3. e5. f4. E takes d4. E takes d4. c5. Knight f3. C takes d4. Bishop e2. Bishop c5. Knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. Queen takes d4. Queen f6. Queen takes f6. Knight takes f6. Knight c3. Bishop g4. Bishop takes g4. Knight takes g4. d4. d6. Bishop f4. e5. D takes e5. D takes e5. Queen takes d8 check. King takes d8. Bishop takes e5. f6. Bishop takes c7 check. King takes c7. Knight c3. d4. d5. e3. e5. f4. E takes d4. E takes d4. c5. Knight f3. C takes d4. Queen takes d4. Bishop c5. Queen d3. Queen f6. Bishop e3. Bishop takes e3. Queen takes e3 check. Knight e7. Queen d3. Knight f5. Knight bd2. Queen e7 check. Bishop e2. e4. d6. Knight f3, e5, d3, knight f6, bishop e2, bishop e7, bishop f4, short castle, bishop g5, h6, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight takes e5, knight c6, queen d2, d takes e5. f3, d6, g3, e5, h3, knight f6, g4, bishop e7, h4, short castle, h5, knight e8, h6, g6, rook h2, knight c6, e3,